crazy to think that once, and it wasn't that long ago, all surfers went leashless. What might be even more insane is that once upon a time, you had to be a very good swimmer to surf. Imagine! Let's talk about sissy strings, power cords, kook connectors, dope ropes, and goon straps in today's episode. Welcome to the Wipeout Weekly, the daily podcast for beginners, wannabe surfers, and seasoned wipeout enthusiasts. No hype, no filler, just the highs, lows, and honest truth about learning to surf and finding your place in surf culture. I'm your host, Suze Wilson. Let's go out. Since ancient Hawaii, surfers resisted anything that might tether them. Some of them still do. Being boardless in a surf was like some kind of rite of passage. But that also meant that every wipeout required a long swim, sometimes through gnarly surf, to retrieve your board. Or worse so, losing your board or getting it smashed on the rocks. Understandably, some surfers got tired of it. It's hard to pinpoint the exact date when the leash was invented, as several people have laid claim to the invention. As early as the mid-1930s, Tom Blake attached a 10-foot-long cotton rope from a belt on his waist to his board. He gave it up quickly, it was just too dangerous. Then, a French surfer, Georges Hennebut, experimented with an elastic line attached to the surfboard's tail and a double Velcro ankle strap in 1958. Velcro was also a new invention. Still, no takers. 12 years later, in 1970, Pat O'Neill, son of wetsuit inventor Jack O'Neill, attached a length of surgical tubing to the nose of his board with a suction cup and looped the other end to his wrist. This sounds painful just reading it out. There is some argument that there was another surfer from Santa Cruz named Roger Adams who might have invented the leash. But I think we can all agree that it wasn't until the leash was finally attached to the tail of the surfboard that the modern kook cord was born. Early leashes were made of surgical tubing, which stretched dangerously far and often snapped the board back like a slingshot. You could argue that Pat is responsible for his dad's lost eye, given that it was a surfboard on a leash that snapped back and hit Jack in the face. While many surfers started making their own leashes from lengths of marine surplus bungee cords, naturally, there was also a lot of resistance. Corky Carroll wrote about it in 1972 in the December issue of Surfing magazine. It's an excellent read. Let me give you a taste. There is a lot of controversy about the surf leash, Corky writes. One thing for sure is that a lot of people are using them, and at the same time, people are violently opposed to them. Those against using the leash claim it isn't pure and that it destroys the aesthetics of surfing. They say that if you make a mistake, you should pay the price with a swim to the beach, even if it means having your board destroyed against a cliff or jetty. They also point out the danger of being hit by your board or having the cord wrapped around your neck. On the other side, we have people who use the leash. Their motto is, "Are you swimming while others are trimming?" They claim that the leash prevents the board from being destroyed on rocks and cliffs. And when you have a $100 or more investment in the board, it's worth protecting. They also claim there really isn't much danger in using them. That was all Corky. The switch from surgical tubing to urethane cord happened in the mid-1970s and made leashes safer and more reliable. Ankle straps replaced wrist attachments, providing more comfort and reducing injuries. Leash plugs became standard in surfboard design by the late 1970s, early 1980s. But the 1980s, the leash went mainstream, but the no-leash interest group didn't go down without a fight. They argued that by relying on their leashes, surfers became lesser surfers. They lost the art of controlling their boards. And that, quoting their unofficial motto, leashes are for dogs. Did the arrival of the leash make surfing explode, or did the explosion of surfing make the leash mainstream? We may never know because I'm done with my research on this topic. So what leash should I wear? Bear in mind that the leashes are for dogs people got one thing straight. Leashes do create a small amount of drag. That's not a good thing. So most surfers use the smallest and lightest leashes possible, usually the same length as their boards. The bigger the wave, the longer and stronger the leash. Length equals distance from the board, and thickness equals strength of the leash. Is it okay not to wear a leash? There is no law against going leashless, like there's no law against being totally ignorant about surf etiquette. Surfing's weird that way. And some longboarders still prefer leashless surfing to preserve the traditional aesthetic and encourage better control of the surfboard. Nose riding is possible when you're wearing a leash. You can attach it to your calf as well, but not as much fun, I'm told. You can go leashless at uncrowded breaks. Good luck finding those. And if you're a decent swimmer. I totally get the whole tanglement argument when it comes to protesting the leash. Unfortunately, there are surfers who died after the leashes got tangled underwater, on a rock or reef. You can learn more about it by watching Riding Giants and the powerful Maverick segment. Plus, you might have experienced a leash-related surf injury yourself. The most common one, when a leash wraps around one of your fingers, leaving a nasty bruise. According to the Encyclopedia of Surfing, more than 10% of surfing injuries are related to leash recoil. I have not yet lost a leash, or leg rope, as Australians call it, but that's probably because I'm not surfing enough. Again, according to the Encyclopedia of Surfing, full-time surfers break 2 to 10 leashes a year. It's an expensive hobby. And that's all for today. Check out the Wipe Weekly for our free newsletter, more stories and ways to connect with us. Thanks for listening. See you tomorrow for more of the Wipe Weekly.